What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? This is Muscle, and this is another Two Line Music Hut's Entertainment Report podcast. And today we have a really special guest. Listen, the last time I spoke to this guest, he promised us that he would actually come back and do a second part of the conversation, and he's here. You know, we have in the building today, we have Mr. Singing Melody in the building today. What's going on, Big Boss?
Lovely, man. Lovely. Everything is great. And as you can see, my movements is kind of just in and out of places. So I am good that I could be able to move back and forth in this time. You know, we thank God for the blessings of technology too, as well. So everything is good and up.
You understand that 100% because a lot of people haven't really been moving around, and a lot of people, they're kind of stuck because they don't even understand how to work with technology in these times right here now.
True.
You understand? Wow. So our last conversation, we covered a lot of grounds, but there was still so much to cover because of this crazy career that you've had over the years here. So we're going to try to get through a bit more of it here. All right?
Yes. Yeah, man, respect.
All right. Okay. Because I know one major thing we didn't cover was the group L.U.S.T. So I know how you met Thriller U at King Tubby's. That's where you met Thriller U. So now, Lukie D and Tony Curtis, where did you actually remember meeting them at first?
Yeah. For Tony Curtis, I think where I met Tony Curtis again, this is like bringing back so many things and so many moments. And I think I met Tony Curtis at the studio as well. I think if it's not Record Factory, it is Arrow's Recordings. And if it's not there, there's another place in Ochiris called Roof International. So I think it's Roof. Roof International will strike a good place. I think it's Roof Studio in Ochiris. I think that's where I've met Tony Curtis. It was really rather a thrilling moment because as vocalists we always drawn to other vocalists' sounds, and sometimes it grab us immediately. And Tony was one of those kind of persons that have that unique sound that actually grab us. But it wasn't until he actually explained, how important I was to him and the influence that I have on him when he was growing up. Because we had talked about, how he used to, when I went to L.U.S.T to perform at a lawn close by his home back then. And that place was more like, as the original dancehall place. And he was just a kid. But when he heard the sound, he was looking through fence and trying to peep over. When he saw me on the mic, he must say, "Oh, that look a black boy, the body, But that's his own words, saying to me that he grew up actually listening to my music and listening to me. And we became friends, and not just friends, but we became lovers of music together. And, I actually tell you, Tony had played a great part of me being in L.U.S.T. Not that he was there when L.U.S.T was forming before. Basically, after meeting Tony Curtis, Tony never know Lukie, but him know of Lukie D and the music and so on. But me, Lukie, and Triller was much closer because we grew up together in Firehouse at King Tubby's and so on and so on. So I met Lukie D in Firehouse, in Firehouse because, as I said, and King Tubby's because Firehouse band is Lukie D uncles. Danny's Lukie D uncle and George, I think. So, and Lukie D's come from a musical family as well. The Sugar Belly band was Lukie D uncle as well. So, there's a lot of different things and different vibe going on. So I met Lukie, Triller, basically the same time going to King Tubby's. So Lukie D and I used to really just clash at times at Shalamar sound system with Amaral Bailey, them a set we on and things to see what the better sing on. We used to clash, sing off and not no physical, not the next man with the studio we laugh and talk about it, and it was a joy.
Mm-hmm.
But Lucky D has been in the music from a while, and his first album, I think it was 9 years old with Fatis and Burrell. And so Lucky D has been recording for a long time, before he became famous, you know. He actually wasn't a King Tubby's artist, but he was there with his uncle playing music. I know Lucky D played little music as well because of the influence of Firehouse, and they grew up together in a band and so on. So he was actually like the apprentice singer for the band and so on. So that's how Lucky D we really get in touch with each other, you know. When I met Lucky D was migrating. I think he had migrated at the time and was in Detroit, but he was traveling back and forth same way to Jamaica. And that's how this whole harmony thing comes together, where Lucky D will come and say, yo, you know, Melody and Chulan, we have some sound, and he would say, sing this and sing that. And when it comes together, it's so beautiful, because anybody who know me know that I'm not really a great harmony singer, but I'm a great vocalist. Like I could picture vocals in any range you want it to go. Lucky D knows that. You know, the sound was unique and it was strong and it was powerful. So we fusing together, me, him, and Trilla, you at the time. It was a beautiful thing. And we were always saying that we wanted to have a group one day, because we were watching the music and watch how it's evolving, and everybody now becoming solo artists, and the group sounding songs were cutting out at the time. And that was about 1990 about 1990 or before that, maybe about 1989, to be honest with you. Yeah, because at that time, my first recording came out on King Tubby's at 87, I think, or 86.
Mm-hmm.
So we were always singing harmony back then, but we weren't talking about lust. We were just talking about just the possibility of having a group together. And then, like I tell you, I met Tony before. Tony and I became friends. So when Tony started to come to Kingston now, him and Jigsy King, we already knew each other before. So I used to transport them back to Linstead almost every evening. You know, I had a little mini miner at the time. We call it the Mr. Bean car, you know. That was my first little car. It's a blue one, and you know, I have this big sound system in there. So I used to travel. We used to travel. I used to take them back and forth to studio and so on. And we used to just hang out together and have a great time. So Tony and I became close friends. Mm-hmm. And, you know, then forward there was Lucky D, Trilla. I think Tony, I'd met Trilla you before, and Lucky D. So I'm not quite sure how that connection was made, but I know through me, you know, we became friends, and Luke and Tony heard about L.U.S.T and, you know, the idea and all of that stuff. So when they make Lucky and Trilla know, a matter of fact, he didn't even realize that we were thinking of having a group. So he started saying that we should have a group. So it's like this thing we're adding to be, you know, with just the whole influence of each and every one of us, that we are drawn to something that is much more powerful than ourselves, you know, and said, you know, let this thing be something that we put out there. We came together back in 1996 and we started to rehearse together now and so on to try to make this thing happen. That's how I met.
The group was formed in 90. So then now officially it came together in 1996. I
would have said 1997 officially, and the reason why, because we're always on and off on the idea, and because of our solo careers, we're always traveling. And so I was living in the US and at the time, and Tony Curtis bust now with I Believe I Can Fly. Him have you know, on a new management with Banky Loss. So him have I Believe I Can Fly, and another song that was doing extremely well. So he was traveling back and forth doing shows. And he actually came to New York and we met up at Dan One Studio. And he was saying to me, why Melody, John Star, you come afar and come live Star, and John, you know, we need you back a yard, man. We could just fly back down and put the group together and stuff. So I was like, you know, yeah, but right now I'm kind of there, so I try to build up the thing. And I said, no, man, at Jamaica, you for there. And I said, man, you mash up the thing. And to be honest with you, I went home and I started thinking about it.
Yeah.
And I said to myself, you know, Tony, right, I'm going to go down. So I flew down about the next month after that. Flew back to Jamaica and I called Tony and I said, yo, me there and I said, what? All right, me, we'll get Luki and Trilla U and XYZ. But we didn't actually have a name for the group. We just know that we wanted to really have something together.
So how did you guys even come up with the name here now?
Now, the name was pretty simple. Well, it was difficult at the time because we started coming up with all sort of different name, and it just wasn't cutting it, it just wasn't cutting it. So I think Luki, Trilla was saying, I think we need to use our initials. Mm-hmm. But start putting the initials together, it kind of a little bit confusing. We didn't know how to place the letters. And so the whole thing come together by us just saying, hey, let's use the initials, starting with Luki. Since that is Luki idea with this whole group, this is how the name now becomes really profound. And, so it is all of us idea, but Luki was the one who actually came up with it at King Tubby's and said, we should have a group one day, and he was the one who always initiating the rehearsals and the harmony song, because he was very good at that. Trilla U and Luki D is really the harmony gods when it comes to backgrounds. Mm-hmm. So they will actually come up with the harmonies and all of that stuff and how it should be laid out for the song to be perfect or the sound to be perfect. And then how we fall in now is really just matching our sounds to that sound and singing the right key and everything. And everything comes together really nice. It becomes one sound. Mm-hmm. And you didn't hear singing melody more than how you hear Trilla, more than how you hear Luki when we're singing together. It's all just one sound that gives you loss. But then when we perform songs now, we start to record, you could be able to identify who is Tony, who is Trilla, and so on, because that's what we wanted. We wanted everybody to have a shine. Because why most groups really break up after a while is because you always have this one brother that's a stick out in the song, and him becomes the lead singer. So we're always mindful of that, even though we weren't thinking about that kind of ego. But from time to time, things will lead up that somebody will have to take the lead. So anyway, Luki D start with L, and we're looking at it, and then we'll put Trilla U second because the U will match, and then the singing come together, and then the T. So after we came up with that, we saw that it was lost. Yeah. And we were kind of iffy about it because we were saying, well, a word there is not really such a nice word to use. Lost is always something that always bring this whole thing like it's a abomination thing unto the Lord, and the lusting after woman and flesh. And so Luciana, when Luciana heard about it, that Luciana bust and I go on good. Because I don't know if you know that we were before Luciana. So Luciana, Bujo, the whole of them, we bust long time before them. Them are youngster compared to we. But based upon the image, it may look like them they are long before us, right? But we are here long before them. So when Lucia bust now, because we and Lucia kind of tight, and Lucia said, boy, the name of L.U.S.T is the only thing we bother me now. The name, we don't need to change that name, But anyway, the name came together now, and we start to try to say, we want to find a understanding for this name, what this name really means to us, And we also put the acronym, in between, so therefore the difference between the L and the the U and the S and the T. And then we said we wanted to mean something, so we came up with this understanding for it. It is love, understanding, sensitivity, and trust. So that's what L.U.S.T means, right? To us, because it is all of us personalities that comes out in that. Mm-hmm. So the love Luki is always the peacemaker, even though he is always also the troublemaker sometimes. But him cry the love and the peace in the thing, and him always keep the unity within the thing. Now Trilla U is the man where always I say him understand, but miserable. I am the sensitive one. I pick up on things very easily, and and I want to, and I'm serious with it, because at the end of the day, somebody has to have that seriousness within the business of how we do things. And then the trust now will be Tony Curtis, the man we always talk about trust and boy loyalty and bag of conscious things.
Yeah.
So the love, understanding, sensitivity, and trust is really what's defining us.
Big right there. Because I know, again, it's Lucky D, Thriller U, Tony Curtis singing melody. We know that, but again, the meaning behind that's pretty profound right there to even come up with that now. Me personally, the first place that I heard L.U.S.T, I might be wrong, was Stone Love was playing a song called Sweetness of Your Love. That was one of the first times I remember hearing about L.U.S.T.
Well, that was the first song also. It was the first song that we wrote together, and we produced it along with Banky L.U.S. And how Banky L.U.S get this name and the label is because he was managing Tony Curtis as Banky. And what has happened is that after meeting L.U.S.T, and we decided that, this should be a good guy to manage the group, because, of course, he was Shabba road manager before, and so on. They did a great job with Shabba. So we just thinking that this would be a great combination. We could use some form of methods like that, in other words, to bring us to the international market. Mm-hmm. Banky did so. So when we wrote the song, we didn't have a label at the time. And we're calling Banky and we said, boy, we'd love for you to produce the song and to put it out on your label. Mm-hmm. So the label now and the name Banky L.U.S now is attached, is really lost. Why Banky L.U.S, the name Banky L.U.S became Banky L.U.S. So we took on the whole movements of L.U.S, and Banky carried L.U.S on his shoulder. He did everything that he could have done, in other words, to promote the group, to get us number one. The song was number one almost everywhere. And collected several amount of awards, neck to neck with Beenie Man that year, was the first song that released with L.U.S that created the first international vibe for L.U.S. Mm-hmm. That's where everybody heard about L.U.S. Everybody, we're talking right across the globe, People were saying all sorts of things. People were saying, no, man, this not real. They're going to mash up soon. For big singer, no, man, this not going to last. Things like that, because you see, we didn't tell our story. We didn't explain to anybody why. But long after we started to do interviews and we started to explain to people why it was important to have a group back in the mix, because the group sounding songs were fading out. Musical reggae music history was dying. And we recognized that because we are also lovers of group ourselves, the Paragons, the Mighty Diamonds, if you think about all these groups that was here before, and the Melodians and so on, those music were stopped playing on radio. So what L.U.S did, L.U.S was the first 4 solo artists ever to break grounds as a group in Jamaica. It is a part of our reggae history. No, that is our history that we have created. And out of that came the TOK, the ARP, all of these groups come back to the forefront now and start to collab. Before, used to have Mansa Shock, mm-hmm. And so on and so on. But and that is really after L.U.S really created. There you can go back and look at the whole history and you see that.
I didn't realize that it was really since '97 that L.U.S has been around, and how many groups came out after the fact.
It was quite a few of them. And like I said, there was always group in the background, but never brave enough to come to the front. Mm-hmm. So when L.U.S lead out, it was time for groups to roll out, And we saw that they did a fabulous job by doing so, because it helps to create another blend within the industry and level the playing field that, harmony music was playing. TOK was a little different. And I like what they brought to the table, because it was just different. It was a different kind of group sound and dancehall vibe too, not just, singing. Even though they did a couple hit songs singing, but it was L.U.S.T was really like a vocal group that bring the classic part of the music together, and you have the ARP, which was doing really nice. Then after that comes another group called what they call themselves again? Oh man, I forgot the names
Mhm.
because they didn't stay long as well on the market. But it is a beautiful thing to look at it now and see what we have created and realize that it is here to stay. Lost will never be one of those groups that you see break up. You might not hearing us now,
Mhm.
but we are working in the background. We are doing things and we are communicating every day as brothers. Still, we have a group that we chat in more times. Sometimes we customers on a post more joking at this group, yeah, more than music work. We want to see some work, we want to see some ideas, you
Mhm.
know. And I'm the one who always complaining to them and saying we need to come up with songs and we need to get that. Sometimes Tony Curtis now is a man, like me say, him and the man will always I try post things in the group and I say, yo, listen to that song I lost, so look can do that song. Because Lost was built also on original music. Because we realize that we have done that in our solo career. So we want to bring forward a group that is different. And so we started out singing original songs. You understand? Or all original songs. So such as
Mhm.
Sweetness of Your Love was our first song. Then we come with Run Free. Then we came with She Got Me. And then we start to follow with an album with bare original songs.
Mhm.
So Just As I Am was actually a song. We were actually after Run Free, we realized that we need something that a little different. It took us a long time to really do a cover because we're always saying no, we don't want to do any covers. Anything that we're bringing forth is supposed to be written by us. And if you go back and you look at the albums, you realize that all songs are written and produced by us. So when Luki D said to us one year that, hey, look, guys, I have a song that is going to do extremely well. Because Luki D is the one who always write and him always pick the songs.
Okay.
Yeah, so Luki D is the one who actually help us to really find songs. Tony Curtis play an intricate role. Me on the business side. So me always I work on the business part of Lost. So for creative soul coming together, it's a fight. It's always an argument with choosing songs.
Yeah.
So I realized that. So I step back a little bit and take charge of the business and then let the creative minds them, the one who always are tussle up with them one another, because I don't like to argue and fight over
Yeah.
stuff that can be very simplified. So I just step back and I let Lukey and Tony and Trilla. So even in the studio sometimes they'll be writing and I hear that a line is kind of not really so powerful. I will chip in and put in my line and a man say, yes, singer, yeah man, that song, that line is shot, I Trilla would say, yo, me not like that,
Mhm.
you know? And to me it's either because I still gonna get my piece of the pie. So why am I arguing about a line that can make the song either better or worse? If it needs something better, then change it. You know. But what I don't like is that if you're going to say this is not good, then you need to have something to back that up. You can't say something is not good and not have a backup. So that is just my thing, and that's Lost has been a family.
Mhm.
So, like I said, Luke D came up with the idea with Just As I Am. We didn't know what song we were going to sing. He just said, guys, we have a studio time, 8 o'clock. Everybody must be there sharp. So everybody asked the question, what song we're going to sing? He said, when you come, you will see. It's a very easy song. No need to worry about anything, you know? So at the same time, when everybody come together, we decide we meet at the studio 8 o'clock and we're there. The musicians are there because we do everything live. That's how Lost do work. We
Okay.
don't believe in a one-man show or one-man band. We do everything live. Everything a full band come in and set up. So when we got there, Firehouse was there. The original people them set up. Everybody are yell up each other. George, you are going next one. You are going Cali, you are going move, and everybody are bless up everybody. And the engineer was always working, who are always working with us, always there, Fitzy and so on, as I can remember. And so Lucky started show the papers now with the words and say, all right, guys, this is the song. So when I look at it, I say, well, but this is a cover.
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying, yeah, it's a cover. We are going to do a cover. We're going to do a cover. I said, you sure? Well, you sure? Because we say, we're not doing a cover. I said, don't worry, man. The song, a hit song. It's a hit. So musicians them start to listen to the original now to try catch. Because all L.U.S.T work, L.U.S.T is a type of group. If we're going to do a song, mm-hmm. it has to be done no less than professional.
For sure.
The key has to be right, the mood has to be right for the rhythm, and the elements has to be correct. If it's not close to the original, it has to be better. And that's how we cover song. If we're not going to do the song justice, we're not going to do it. I don't care what song it is. So musicians them strike up the band and everybody get excited. So when they said, all right, Melody, you're going to sing the chorus. I said, no, I don't want the chorus. I want a verse, because every time there's a song, when they give me the chorus to sing, and I feel like all I'm good for is to sing a chorus. So Luke said, yeah, I call you at the studio to sing a song. Mm-hmm. I have the song plan already. The one day in the song, or you don't want to be in the song. So I said, all right, I'll sing the chorus. So that's how I end up singing, you say you love me just as I am. And if you go back and you listen to the original version, you can hear that the songs are similar, if not better, with, trust me. So that moment, like as it was yesterday, just coming back to me now, like, yo, when I heard that and I heard me singing that, I was like, yo, this song is gonna be powerful, So after the song was recorded and everything was done, the studio time was finished when we actually completed the song. But the engineer decided to give it a rough mix because he think his mindset is that, yo, this song is gonna be a hit. So he started to rough mix it and, special finger on it and till the time gone over an hour. Hmm. And that's how Love the Song was at the time in studio before it actually hit road. And that's how Just As I Am was created. It was just out of Luki's mind, like just thinking about the sounds and the songs and just speaking. Inspiration again was also another one, the same way. So those are the two covers that we did. Yeah, that actually did extremely well for us and give us some really good clout, especially with Air Supply and also with the original songwriter, which is Rob Eagle. Yeah, that's the original songwriter for Just As I Am, because we thought that Air Supply wrote the song. Mm-hmm. But afterwards, after the song came out and hit, the original songwriter reached out to me on Facebook saying that he really appreciated, he said it's the best version of the song he has ever heard. And not only that, this song probably make him a lot of money because this was a mega hit for us worldwide.
Crazy. And another one where I know you guys changed your style and almost brought it back to dancehall for a bit was Goffiar.
Goffiar was also an original song, and we wanted to create a twist on the old time style. Mm-hmm. Bring back the 90s melodies. Goffiar, give it to her. It's a kind of vibe, like a more staccato vibe, but the rhythm was playing and complementing the song, it was just amazing. And we had a great time writing that song because it was so easy. All of us wrote the song, but it was so easy to just sing it because it was, like, again, I said, Luki played a great role. And we're not taking any credit from anyone because it's all of us make this possible. Luki alone couldn't do it. Mm-hmm. But when it comes to blending and finding songs. Lucky D will come up with ideas, and then look, Tony first I go catch on. Because Tony had the man when him catch on quick for any song and start right same time, and then Triller come in, and then my vibe is just different, and everybody just make the song just. Trust me, you can see it from me just talking to you, and the energy that I'm giving to you is really like you're there right now, actually experiencing the moments of how we create, for powerful energy to reckon with.
Big deal. And how many albums have you guys recorded so far as L.U.S.T?
Two. I think it's Sweetness of Your Love and You're the Inspiration. That's two albums that we have done. There could be a third one in the making soon. But we have been recording and trying to find a way through how we can able to bring something really generously to the fans who have been waiting so long for another L.U.S.T album. And the reason for this delay, like we tell people, is because of the solo careers. It's really, and we're not in the same place at the same time all the time, And L.U.S.T is a type of group. We don't really send around the rhythm and sound the record a party and then I'm on the record. The energy not go great. If L.U.S.T don't come together at one place, then you won't have an album. It's really just what it is. It's authentic, and we like to bring that energy back together pretty soon.
Makes sense. Makes a lot of sense. Now, before we even come out of the L.U.S.T, this L.U.S.T section here, what I wanted to ask you now, you guys were 4 established artists already. How easy or how hard was it to say, now I'm going to join this group? We have to fly as 4. We have to get paid as 4. We have to do dub plates as 4. Everything now is 4 opposed to single. What was that adjustment like in the first place?
You see, because we already understood what we were up against, we're already understanding what we are dealing with. We know that this wasn't about money. We know that this was about building something for Jamaica and Jamaican people and the world to really have as a gift from us. Because I think when God gives you a gift, you should not limit yourself. You should extend yourself to the best possible way that you can able to extend that gift. And the gift is not just singing melody. So now I have 2 gifts, which is L.U.S.T and singing melody. So because we understood that from day one, it was pretty easy. The money thing, now we understand that we're going to have a breakdown of 5 people getting paid, sometimes 12 out of one money. So we were poor guys. We're still poor guys working within the music and sharing what we earned within the music with the team, because the team is not just L.U.S.T. It is L.U.S.T plus management and band. So we're sharing whatever we're getting and splitting it down the line to make sure that 20% comes out for management. After that, then you have us getting paid and the band getting paid. So we are the last to really get paid, because we have to pay the band members first before we take our cut, because we want to keep everybody around us and the team happy, And then sometimes you have PR in the mix of that, and we have to now spread everything. So yeah, it was pretty easy. We have never had an argument over dub money or splitting, because everybody understood what it was. It's not what it is. It's not the money. It's really just a thought for someone reaching out and say, we need a L.U.S.T dub. We are always happy to do it, and we're always happy to split and take less. There was time in the group where people say, yo, Melody, I hear the man, If you leave, man, you don't see group of hold you back. Because you know why? Because we already established solo careers, and what happened is that after working with the group, we realized that the group is getting more attention. But that's a deliberate move. It's not because Singing Melody don't want to work on Singing Melody, because if Singing Melody becomes more prominent than a group, people is gonna only book Singing Melody. So we have to take turns, and we have to build up the group so the group can be able to get to a certain rising where them can be able to sustain themselves. So when there's no solo thing going on, the group are getting paid. So we always have a backup plan. So there's always work for the group. There's always work for individual, because you have some people who don't want L.U.S.T. They just want Singing Melody. I have some people who just want Tony alone. And sometimes they want just singing melody and Trilla you. And sometimes it's just Trilla. So no matter how you take it, the work is always there. You know, we are always working. We are never yet be the artists who sit down and not doing anything. You know, if it's not with a group, it's with your solo career.
Makes a lot of sense. And somebody like you that's been in the business so long now, from the 80s to right now 2021, I want to ask you, they could either be in L.U.S.T or as a soloist, 3 of your most memorable either shows or moments you've had in this business so far.
That's a very difficult question for L.U.S.T. I will tell you this, because anywhere L.U.S.T goes, and even fellow artists, once L.U.S.T walk in, everybody want to perform first. Nobody don't want go after L.U.S.T, because it's not just L.U.S.T, it's really the power of L.U.S.T to reckon with. So when you put L.U.S.T on a stage with like a Beres Hammond, and you see it many times, it happens, you know, and a Sanchez and a thing, you having a powerhouse show right there. You're having a show that can't finish. Because everybody bring that energy. But you see with L.U.S.T, I remember as a conversation that we and Uncle Beres have. We say Uncle Beres, you know, because him had Beres had the maestro, the general that right now our Michael Jackson that for Jamaica. You know, him had the man. You know, we put nothing past Beres and nothing before him. It's a force that's reckoned to none. But I remember one moment with L.U.S.T. We had 2 shows booked. One general degree show in Manchester, and we have another show in Negril the same night. So we wanted to perform a little bit before Beres so we can be able to head off to the show. But Beres was scheduled to perform at 1. So we wanted Beres slot. So we went to Beres. Beres said, boy, no, that not got me, you know. I am slated to perform at 1 o'clock on a move on FB. So the man will go back again and we are realizing, so, Beres cool, no, man, we have a next thing I go on the grill, man, and this is important to us. Beres said, Uno? No, sir. And I like we can do Beres catalog, not at all. But the man said out a female, from me no group until now, I was in a group myself. Uno, are the wickedest thing me ever say. Uno can't go before me. It's simple. Uno have to wait till uno turn. But of course, you know, Beres was just joking. Just making me feel like, you know. So him say, oh man, it's all right, man. You're not my youth, man. I'm my youth. No can go before me. And we went. And I tell you, it wasn't an ordinary night. And we left shortly after. So we said we wanted to wait until Uncle Beres go on, right after us. And when Beres went on, believe when me tell you, it's like, yeah, you know, say L.U.S.T great, but Beres is just Beres. You can't take anything from that. But what we did, it was to create a moment there that leave a stain on the people in mind. That I said, no man, Beres shot, Beres mash up the place. But why the group they lost? You know? So that was actually one memorable moment. Another memorable moment is we were in Cuba.
Okay.
And this is the first time we have ever encountered anything like this. Japan and them place our yard. When we go there, tour sell out totally. So there's many memorable moments, but that moment, the Cuba moment, General Degree moment was the 2 that stick out in my head. And there's also Germany.
Okay.
So when you're talking about L.U.S.T now, you can't pinpoint a moment because there's so many great moments, but I'm just coming off the top of my head with what I remember. In Cuba, we were performing, and while on stage with the band, money. We couldn't sing in peace. There was just money constantly throwing on stage. When we're done, we get more money than what we got paid. And we have to now split up that money among everybody because it was so great that all the MC come on and start take up money, putting a fee pocket and say it's a part of L.U.S.T. But, and that was IT and Fancy Cat, I remember precisely. But there's many great moments, man. L.U.S.T is just a group that when you book L.U.S T, you don't have to worry about nothing. Because you're not only getting L.U.S T, you're getting solo performances and hits. So when you're booking L.U.S T, you have to literally slack 2 hours for L.U.S T performance. That's basically it. Else you'll be getting a spicy show that cut short.
Yeah, right. Okay, so then give me one of your for your solo career, one moment that sticks out in your mind almost forever that you will never forget.
Bada Clash, 1990. I was in the hospital, devastated, broke up from a motorcycle accident. Well, the paper said they don't think I was going to make it because I have 2 major surgery, one on my head, and the next one is on 2 legs. Was broken, along with hips and jawbone and all of them stuff. So when the paper come to the hospital, they just saw a dead man on the bed. But while I was there, I was actually just asking God for another chance and telling him that I will do well if I got another chance. And them times I was just laying there. I didn't know anything, don't know what is happening. Just laying there, a motorcycle accident. Me and Tiger actually have one of the worst accidents in Jamaica. And devastated to the industry at the time because I was on the rise of my career when that happened. As a matter of fact, I have the song out called Baby, we've been in and out of love so many times. The Michael Bolton song there. And I covered it on the boom, boom, ba, 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 boom, boom. You know? And I tell you, that song was ripping dancehall. Yo, them times, the highlight was between me and Sanchez, clashing all the time. People are saying, yo, which are the better singer? Because the hits them are roll off now. We are finding the niche, we are finding the key now to the songs them, and we are create hits. So it was a back-to-back song you get. And right in the midst of that, the accident set me back. So everybody said that this was gonna work. So after about 6 months in the hospital or 7 months, I started to recover. So that's when I started to get visitors. And so at the time you have Coleman, who's an artist as well, and his brother, who's a dentist. And they're the one who actually keep the show Bada Clash every year with Ninja Man and Shaban. Everybody was on that show. That show was a massive show at Coney Island. Anybody can remember this moment who have been there, you know, hear me talking about this. It was really a breathtaking moment. It was a very touching moment as well for the fans because people fainted at that event, crazy people fainted. And I'll give you carry through the experience. So Skullman came to the hospital to visit because they had booked me on Bada Clash before, but before that, and the accident took place. So they wasn't sure that I was gonna make it. So after they got the news that, you know, now receiving visitors, everybody now started to come and visit and stuff. So they came and they were like, yo, my brother, I'm glad you're alive. And I could hear them, but I couldn't talk because I have a lot of stuff in my mouth to hold up my jaw and things like that. But I could make signs, shake my head and things like that. So they were talking to me about the possibility of coming to Bada Clash just to show my face. And I was like, I don't think I could do that, you know, at this state now. But let's see, because Bada Clash is 6 months away. You know, because that's how show used to promote it. All the major shows, people knew what time of the year they will be appearing, and they will prepare for those shows because they were religiously just there, you know, in the mind of people. Because when people used to go to those events, oh my God, people will enjoy themselves. They don't leave till 4, 5, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock in the morning. Show are done 9 o'clock. You know. So as 2 weeks progress past that, 3 weeks, they came back again to see my progress. And this time the wire was out my mouth, so I could be able to talk. So we start talking, and Them I say, yes, man. I say, yes, man. I say, we try to make it possible because me, I didn't know what I was doing. But for me, it's like, I felt like this opportunity I get now, I'm not going to waste it. I'm not going to lose a moment of it. I couldn't walk, but then I could have talked and I could have sing because I got back. If you look on this side, you will see where there's a high, like a buff, if you carry it closer. This is the side that was worked on, and there's still a piece of bone just there. So when they came, they're like, yo, but I don't think you're going to be able to sing, man. I said, no, man. I go sing, man. And doctors, everybody, they used to just come to my bed every day because, I'm star in the hospital and everybody want to know who this guy is and so on. So I tell them, yeah, man, I will set it up. Don't worry. So my jaw get better now. I could be able to sing. I could be able to do anything because I'd gone through the therapy and everything. Everything is great here now. My head, because I have a skull fracture that a rock actually got inside my brain when the accident took place. And I have to do 2 surgery on it because 1, they didn't x-ray properly. So they didn't know that there was a stone inside my head until my head started to get so swollen. So that's when they have to put me back and do another thing and realize there was a rock in my head. And that's how I recover from all of that. So when I couldn't talk, all of that stuff that was happening, I could have gone. But like I said, my reasoning with God that actually brought me back to this life now, that I could be sitting here to talk to you. And after that, Bada Clash come in the next 2 weeks. So I'm cutting everything short. Next 2 weeks, Bada Clash in the making now. So I said, I'm going to do this because I'm still in the hospital. My legs are on weights and things. I can't move around as I want to. I'm still in bed. So there was 2 nurses that from the UK, 2 white nurses that was always there and always coming to see me every day. So we were talking. I was saying to them, hey, guys, would you like to go at a show, like a stage show? And they were like, yeah, but how are we going to get there? I was like, no, I'm going to take you. And they were like, no, but you can't move. And like, don't worry about it, man. We're going to work something out. So I asked them at the time, which was really wrong. And I put the job at stake at that time. But I really wanted to get out there to let people know that I was alive and I'm well and they can look forward to me coming back to the industry and things like that. So I was determined to make it happen. So I called him and I asked him if they knew of any ambulance guy that I could talk to. And they said, we don't know. We can check for you. And so the security guard that was there, I actually went and get him and asked him. So the second week, I got a wheelchair to roll out the bed. And this is how God was just working on me fast, like really quick turnaround. And I got a wheelchair now, so I start to roll myself outside now. So that's how I able to make connections with people now and give them instructions and so on. So the ambulance guy came and I set up everything. So I tell the promoter to come and see me at the hospital. So he came back, Skullman. I said, we're going to need some money. So he said, what for? I said, we'll have to pay for the ambulance. We have to do this, do that. All of this is illegal now that I'm talking about. I'm so sorry that I could be to sit here and talk about this. But yeah, it's just real. It's just what's happened at the time. So the ambulance guy come and I said, yo, I'm giving money and you roll me out a year. After the sister come and visit the ward because we couldn't leave before the sister come and check off the patients.
Yeah.
And see that everybody was good and everybody was well tucked in, and then the ward locked down. The nurses on the ward, I basically talked to them, set up everything, said, look, don't worry, I'll be back before morning. The ambulance came the night of the show after the sister gone, quietly, and the nurses that I invited come. They are the one who operate the chair that turns into a bed, and the driver helped them to slide it in the ambulance, and I would be able to transport to the venue. When we get onto the highway, the siren on now by this, and we are cut road because late. Everybody has said it was a surprise to the fans, because the fans wasn't expecting me.
Okay.
This was a show with Shabba, Ninja Man, all the artists at the time that were the top artists was on this bill.
Mm-hmm.
Shabba was in his prime. Ninja Man was in his prime. And brother, when the ambulance reached at the gate, when I say people, we're not talking about no joke people, the same amount of people that's inside of the venue is the same amount of people on the outside. So when the ambulance was cutting through now, they said, wow, somebody must dead inside here.
Mm-hmm.
And I heard somebody said, I wonder if I singing melody. Just like that, and I was like, wow, I wonder if they see me inside here. So I'd start to tell the nurse, make sure all the windows are closed. And they said, no, everything is closed. Don't worry, you're good. You're good. And got backstage on the ambulance, reverse, and they back up and they roll out the bed, and the bed now turned into a chair so I could be able to sit in it. And then they have two pieces of metal that goes out so my leg could stay elevated on it. So the MC lined up everything, and it was my turn to go on stage. And brother, when the MC said we need to have some assistant to put this chair on stage, his people lift me up on camera on stage in the chair.
Crazy.
And when I started, I literally started seeing females fainting. People, men, I dropped down because the crowd was so tight. And the place was getting on fire, and it was just a moment that was just so, brethren, up till now, that moment, sometimes at a radio disc jockey who interview, who know the history, always talk about this moment because they remember it like it was yesterday, And that was one of my memorable moments, but there's also Japan. When I first went there, as we talked about it, I was the first Jamaican artist to do a reggae Japanese song. And that was also a memorable moment for me as well. There's many, but that one with my accident, take the icing.
No, for sure. Because you know what? I remember back then, Tiger had got into the motorcycle accident, but I didn't realize that you had got into a motorcycle accident at that time there also too.
Yeah, before, but my accident was before Tiger.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, didn't realize that.
Yeah.
Especially
and
now.
that's how most of, and at that time that's how most of the artists them start selling motorcycle now. Like Captain Barky and Wickerman were me, Captain Barky, Wickerman, Tiger. Well, and we were always riding together to every party and every dance, And so after that, after Tiger accident, I think that's when everybody decided that this motorcycle thing now go work. Ghost too. We and Ghost used to ride together. Ghost used to ride bike too.
Mm-hmm.
Because I met him at a very tender age as well, So yeah, man. So the journey is really big, and it's a lot of things to remember.
Mm-hmm.
But I as I'm getting older, I'm remembering all of them, and it's just so refreshing to know that I'm still here and remembering the past and still trying to create a future,
For sure. I got a few more questions before I get you out of here, because this is actually the second part here where we did the first part already. With you being in this business for so long, I want to know, when did you think was the highest point in your career so far and the lowest point in your career thus far?
Well, the highest point in my career is when I have the song Back for Good. That was the highest point because that was a song that did it for me internationally, globally. Like people really know singing melody, like know of this person. This is the guy, And 2000, I think 1998 or 99 into 2000, that was the highest point. Because as you know, I have some tragedies before that. So my career was always building and slowing down. Couldn't really find my way through. And that song with Colin Fata and Bolby York, which is Fatai's label, I was with at the moment, that created that new highlight in my career. And that was it. That was it for me. 2000, 2001, 2, 3, 4 was the year of just singing melody, just booming, and was just on the high. The lowest point of my career, I don't think I've ever gotten to the lowest point because I'm always in control in terms of what I do and how I feel. Music wasn't something that I felt like, I'm responsible for and I need to be up in people's face every day. So the moment I'm not there, I feel like I'm not anywhere. There's always a thing with me that I actually adopted from some of the veterans is really humility is one, and the next one is timeless. Be a timeless person, where your music, no matter how long it takes for you to bring something, when you come with it, it will be correct. It will be awesome. People will love it. And I try to create this staple that stays on people's mind all the time, where people will never forget who Singing Melody was or is, because of the kind of music I make and how timeless they are and how they fit in an everyday life. So you will never have, I never had a low moment. But I think my moment was the accident, but it was also a high moment for me because, it was a moment that actually brought me back to how fast I was going to get there. And it actually slowed me down so I could be able to see a little bit clearer, that I could get connected with God and understanding that this wasn't just me who wanted to make a career. God has something to do with your development, and you need to take it at a pace where you can. And you see, is all of this bring even the highest point of my life, in my music career. So I will never forget the highly flavor of the Most High, because he's the one that actually brought me to this far. I couldn't say it's me, because mankind, knowing mankind, we are self-destruct. It's like giving a baby a candy. He want another one and another one and another one, because he don't know that, this is not good for him and he can't have too much, So with human being is the same thing. If you keep giving people success, they will never know their failure. They will never get to understand, why do I fail, So the music itself is like a university for wisdom, and I hope that someday I could be able to pass on this knowledge as we're doing now to my books and, just my humility and, how we can able to get to places by understanding, who are in control and what we need to do to be there, and, so it's all of this thing. Most people say, Melody, I chat bullcrap, because we can just go and do whatever and get there. But yeah, for some people it may work, and for some people it just not happening,
Makes total sense. Also, with your accolades, okay, what are 3 accolades that you hold dearest to your heart? It doesn't have to be the world's biggest one. It might be the first, the last 3 accolades that Singing Melody has received that you hold dear to your heart.
Wow. I think one is Rockers Award, because that was the one that actually opened my eye for Best New Artist of the Year and things like that. The next one is Back for Good, because that was a song that, you see, everything was coming like it come at a certain steps, that you say, wow, you realize that was the high point, but then receiving something to highlight that actually fills you up to say, yeah, Best Reggae Song of the Year, Best Reggae Artist, and rest. I think I received like 3 awards for that. Tamika Award as well. Wow, it's a lot. It's a lot of them. But recently with L.U.S.T, I've received another one from the minister, Babsy Grange, for entering the first recording artist to enter the festival competition with Buju Banton the other day. We have received one for L.U.S.T as well. And L.U.S.T have received many too. Song of the Year, this, that, and that. So there's a lot of little awards, and we haven't got to the Grammy yet, but that's the highest achievement, and we'll hope to get there. We have mentioned in the Grammy a few times, and I'm grateful for that. That our name even got mentioned in the lineup of the albums that's in the Grammy, which was They Call Me Mr. Melody, was one of the 50 reggae albums at the time that selected and in the lineup for Grammy, if anything. But it actually never made it to the nomination. But just the mentioning is really great. to see that you're there and you're climbing. Now with the next chapter, this is what I hope to do with the next chapter, is to actually get myself in there. But because of the restrictions and what we're going through now with live performances and getting yourself popular out there and be in people's face and promoting and marketing, is really kind of have a slight limits on, our ability to get there. But we'll see what the rest of the year brings. And that is my wish, that I achieve the highest point in my life before I leave this world, and can able to do many if possible. This thing don't have any restriction. Is really just we have to work our way up there.
Mhm.
And we say to every artist, if you put in the work, then there's something there for you. We don't know how much, we don't know what, but we were the type of artist wasn't really always working and getting things. It wasn't about that. It was just working for the love of the music and try to gain more fans as we get there in life. Even though when you go on our social media, you might not see 10 million people or 50 million people. And I made a statement on this the other day because it is real. Those people that you saw on my thing, some of them are followers, some of them are real fans. Majority of them are real fans. So when you go to my page and you may see 15,000 people or 13,000 people, don't be alarmed.
Mhm.
My fan base is much bigger than that. But based upon what social media promotes and how people get their followings,
Mhm.
I am not a pro at that. So, and I will never buy generic followers. Everything that I do in my life is automatically generated by what I do there. And these people follow me just to follow what I'm doing, or they're fans that actually know me and follow my music. Because I've met fans, even on my page, that can able to sing word to word with me with songs on my live too.
Mhm.
So that shows that these are real, organic, and authentic people that's really paying attention to what I do. What we hope is that these authentic people can able to turn what we're doing into real numbers. And that's where the challenges are, is getting the real fans to really start buy into what you're doing and not just there to listen, but to actually invest like how you're investing with them. Because what I don't think the fans really understand is that we continue to spend money to come out with new projects because we want them to be a part of it. We want to invest with them, So if they do back the same favor, that means is that we will be getting somewhere together. So why you don't hear your favorite artist sometimes is because there's not enough to actually bring new music to you. It's all easy and said and done when people may look at artists and say, but all you have to do is sing.
Mhm.
No, it is not that simple, because putting a song out there takes a lot of money to market, to promote, not even talking about the production part, because the production part costs money, but the marketing is really what costs a lot more. And now we're in a digital age, is that the old school thing don't work no more. So yeah, it works, yes, for the print medias and things like that. But for your everyday fans who have them cell phone and them on every minute I look so, those are the ones that have multiple choices. Them can scroll past you in a jiffy, if them are look for something specifically. But if them stop at you, we give thanks, right? Because that's what we're working towards. We're in a digital age now. So we're working to understand how to manipulate the digital age and to actually brought it to life. Sales is also another problem that we have, is that the fans are not educated enough how to buy compared to streams. So it's a lot of things that our industry is going through right now that determines Grammy, determines everything that we do to growth. So don't think that is not because the songs are not good that the artists are putting out. Is that it takes a lot more to create that and to get that happen. So yeah.
That makes sense also. Last one I have for you before I get you out of here. This one is more on a personal note here. This is your weight loss journey. All right. Because I know, was it something more on purpose, something that came along? How did that come along in the first place? Because we remember singing Melody as somebody that had weight and had on a lot of size. Well, not a lot, but you were always one of the bigger singers. Yes.
Do you have time, bro? Because
of course, I have time.
This is really, this is actually the biggest part of the next chapter.
Mm-hmm.
So the next chapter, the album, as you were playing earlier, it's really about my life, my journey. It's really just explaining that now will take a little bit of time. But let me get started. It's simple.
Mm-hmm.
A few 4, 5, 6 years ago, a matter of fact, 6 years ago, as I was talking to my friend in North Carolina, I was trying to explain to him about, just eating healthy. No, back then I didn't have the knowledge about eating healthy, but I just knew, like, within myself that, something is going wrong and we're not eating the way we're supposed to be eating. I started to question meat because eating so much meat, I started to start to reject meat. My system started to reject it because there's so much of it that's inside of you. And you didn't know that you're not supposed to be eating these things from the get-go. But because of trend and doctrine and how we grew up, we eat these things because these things was brought to us and brought to our table, and we have no choice of food, and we didn't know better. Even our parents didn't know better, so they fed us the way how they know.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people will say, yeah, man, then we eat a long time and nothing wrong with you, man. We're good, man. No, but you see, life is much more than that. It takes years for you to die, and it takes seconds for you to die. It depends on how you treat yourself. True. So your food is your medicine, and your medicine is your food. It is simple as that. So for me, I woke up one morning and just have a light head, just my head just light, like I can't balance, and my ears was always giving me trouble. And, I start to realize that something is wrong. Went to doctor. They can't find anything wrong with me. They don't say, well, maybe you have vertigo. And vertigo, there's no cure for it, as what they say in the medical fields. But I grew to find out otherwise, that this wasn't so. Now, I woke up one morning. I felt really bad. Like, I said, I can't do this anymore. My system started to reject food now, like certain kind of food I can't eat anymore, and so on. So my phone rang, and this was Craig from voicemail.
Okay.
And he said, "What go on, singer? Me just a touch base with you a long time. I know hear from you, so me just a heal you up and thing." So I was like, my brother, I'm here, man. Everything good. It's nice to hear from you, man. You all right and thing. And he said, yeah. I said, how about you? And I said, as usual, I'm always honest. I said, well, to be honest with you, my brother, I'm not well, I don't feel good. And he said, what happened to you? And I said, well, I woke up this morning and my head was light and I can't stand up properly. And I said, really? So I said, wait, you don't know chemo? So I said, no. I said, keep it on guitarist, man. Chemo, man. Dr. Chemo. So I said, no, man. I said, oh, yeah, you mean the git? And I said, yeah, man, the same Gitsy, man.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, all right, hold on, I'll call him for you. Just like that. And he called him, but he didn't get him at the time. So he said, you know what? I don't know why I'm not get him, but I'll call you back and make you know. So he called me for a favor. I ended up helping me. So long and the short of it, called back about 20 minutes after, and he said, guess what? Chemo just came off of a flight. I'll make him call you soon. So Chemo called me on his way home, and he said, wait, what I go on, singer? Craig tell me, say, well, I said, yeah, man, I don't feel well, nothing detrimental, but I can't stand up and balance properly because my ears, my system just off balance. And he said, wait, I said, all right, don't worry, I'm coming to see you. Mm-hmm. So I said, how soon? He said, well, I can come. You just let me know. So I said, listen, I'll pay for all your expenses. Just come. Mm-hmm. So he brought a box with some medicine. I didn't ask him to, but because he heard about what I was going through, he wanted to make sure I have something immediately. So he came the following, about 2 days after. Mm-hmm. And when he came to my home now, it's like, he started to get excited. I say, yo, you have some powerful things around your yard, man. So you use them. I said, we are talking about, because all me I say, is bush
Yeah.
and weeds. But he see power in these weeds because I don't have the knowledge to know what herbs good for, and me don't know nothing about that. Me just I eat bad all my life, meat, everything, meat, anything, rice, flour, everything. And he just said to me, man, you don't even realize. So he started to walk me around the yard and start to pick herbs and eat them and literally tell me what they're good for. So for that, at that time, I was really get more interesting now. Cause me I say, yo, if I'm gonna pick something when me use weed whacker and walk down every day and say, boy, them not good, and them a bush up the yard, this man I eat them. So there must be something to them. So he started to tell me what the name of the herbs, and I started to research them.
Mhm.
And I realized the power that they carry. And I said to myself, I said, John, so I've read this in the Bible before, that the herbs are the medicine,
Sure.
healing. And why are we not using them? So this part of the knowledge is that we get locked out of because of the everyday lifestyle that is promoted to us, which is death.
Mhm.
We don't realize that all these foods that they're promoting to us is the way to shorten life. It's not to extend life. So I get more interested. So we start to sit down and talk now about me. And I start to tell him how I eat. And he said, no, man. Him say, you've been digging a grave. Him say, matter of fact, let me see what's in your pantry.
Mhm.
So we go inside, open up the pantry. And the man hold him head and said, Jesus Christ, Melody, man. You dig a grave here, man. The man said, we got to get rid of all of this out of here immediately. Like right now. So I was like, oh, shoot. So what you saying? I have to throw away my basmati rice? Because me mother love basmati rice. The man said, yeah, man, this coconut oil, this oil where you have in yourself, you have to dash all of them things. These are the things that clogging up your system and causing problems. And me I said to him, said, no, man. We had a long 10 minutes argument over the food. So I said, all right, you're here to help me, so I'm going to follow your lead. So he said, get a box. I'm not talking about this kind of energy when we have now, because we never have no energy back then. We just very low key when we talk and so on, because I'm getting slower. I didn't realize. So he said, just get a box and we start to pack. So I said, all right, I'll give the guys them where I work outside. He said, no. If you're not eating it, don't give it to them. Carry it out of the garbage. So I carry all the food. I talk about over $500 worth of food. And just drop right in at the bin at the garbage can. And the man said, as from now on, do not buy back these food. Don't put any meat in your fridge. Don't store no chicken. Don't store nothing like that. Mm-hmm. So he started to now check out the herbs them. And he said, all right, this one, we're going to go on a 3-month cleanse. He said, what I'm going through is that my system and my digestive system is now rejecting food because it's very sick. And this is one of your most important system in your body. And if this stop work, then you're going to have all sorts of different problems. The next thing is that you're clogged with all these things that you've been eating for years. And like he said, oh, well, it was. And like I would give him a number and say 40. He said, well, your sickness in your body is 40 years old. So he says, to remove these toxins out of your body, these are the products that I'm going to show you how to take them. So my wife was here at the time. My wife is I would say she's a very, very intelligent person. And everything is about education for her. So if it's not documented, she's not getting involved in it. So she said, Everton, are you sure you want to do this? So anyway, she got into the conversation with us because she don't believe in what I believe in at the time.
Got you.
So she wanted me to go to the medical doctor, but I've been to the medical doctor so many times. And the medical doctor couldn't figure out what I was going through. So I decided to take a different approach. So chemo now start to explain what these things are, what's inside of them, and what they're good for, and how important it is for your system. So he started to explain all of that, and we started to research as we go along. So there was a tea that he was giving me to make 3 times a day after drinking.
Okay.
And the tea is called vervine. I want you to go look up this tea. It's called vervine. So when he present the tea, my wife, no, she's a Google specialist. So she start Google it right away because she don't want me to drink it. So when she Google it and she start to search on the history of the plant, it's good for even she.
Yeah.
She starts, oh my God, what am I thinking? This is good stuff. So she spent probably about 50 grand with the guy the same day on just herbs because she started to realize. So I started to follow Dr. Chemo's procedure along with a diet. And the diet is simple. Over the years, we've been eating all these hard food and don't realize that hard food doesn't work with our body. Our body is mineral based, no protein, nothing. Minerals. Proteins are fabricated to encourage you to eat meat.
Got you.
So this is really a person who came up with this idea back in about the 17th century. I don't remember how long ago, but Dr. Chemo have the notes and the history on it. Mm-hmm. And when they asked, what are the electrons in proteins? They couldn't find out. They couldn't tell us the electrons because there's no electrons in protein. These are just stimulant food. Meat, they might encourage you to eat. Mm-hmm. So when they tell you about protein, it's really just telling us crush up meats and stuff that blend together that gives you telling you that this is good for you, but there's no electrons at all. So, and your body, as me and you speaking now, is mineral-based body. That's what we're supposed to be getting every day to be good. And the body can heal itself properly because the body now needs mineral every day. Minerals, we have about over 100 odd minerals a day. So I'm going to show you something in a second that blow your mind. 1 second. Mm-hmm. Now, I have this thing in a bowl because I've just made some this morning myself. So I'm going to show you what are 96 raw minerals that you're supposed to be taking every day.
Okay.
So this is called sea moss. This is real sea moss. If you pick it up right now, it is a gel. That's it. Mm-hmm. It is now cooked with 96 minerals in it. Now, this is what my diet was. Sea moss while I was doing the cleanse. And let me tell you, it wasn't an easy one. Because this cleanse, first of all, the food, I'm off the bad food now that I was always eating. I'm going to tell you what's happening, the miracle that's taking place. Remember, I tell you I wasn't feeling well. The first 2 weeks of taking the herbs, my hearing started to clear up. That is the first thing start happening. The medicine that I get, my brother, they don't taste anywhere near good. Not even close to anything where you eat in your whole entire life. Just think of the most worst thing you've ever put in your mouth. This is worse than that.
Okay.
The stuff, the first time I entered in my mouth with a shot glass of the cleanser, it changes the concept of how I think. It disturbed everything that was going on inside of me when I swallowed that thing. The taste of it was on my tongue for about a week. It couldn't come off. And I have to take this thing 3 times a day on time. My brother, I passed out some stuff that I know I eat about 6 months ago. And I thought these things were outside in the sewage. But they were still inside of me. So even though you're going to the bathroom and you're getting rid of some waste, there's some stuff that's stocked up inside of you that can't be removed unless you drink bitter plants. These herbs that I tell you about, these are the only things that speak to these things. You can't drink water, forget it out, and you can't drink medicine, forget it out, because these are excessive mucus that clogs organ over time, and it becomes smaller and smaller and smaller until it becomes stuck. Just imagine you trying to drive on a highway that is blocked. That's what I'm talking about. So you're not going to get in where you want to go. So even if you're eating something good, it's not going to pass to get to where it needs to go to create the energy that you need. So the cleanse was important first. 3 months of cleanse. And my diet was CMAS in the morning, CMAS in the afternoon, CMAS in the night. And all I did was to just blend for my breakfast, like I did this morning, CMAS, extract vanilla, cinnamon, 2 ripe bananas, not overripe, just ripe, and some papaya. That's my breakfast every morning. So this is what my diet was. And then in the evening now, sometimes I will make cereal. So I will blend green bananas and use ripe banana as my sweetener, because sugar is cut out my diet too, because he said sugar was creating a major problem. And that also is a part of our human being fight, the sugar that we're getting. The synthetic sugar is definitely a killer. So he told me about the sugar, and so I started to use now banana as my sweetener.
Got you.
So I blended banana, green banana, ripe banana, cinnamon, coconut milk. So coconut now becoming now the real ingredients to make your food taste good. So oil was out, sugar was out, flour was out, all of these things was out. So now him start to give me now the kind of food I need to eat. That will speak to the body. So I went shopping. He gave me some menus and I started to make them until I become a pro at creating my own menu. And every day is something different. Brother, I have never tasted anything in my whole life like this kind of food I'm eating now. Now, everything starts changing from there, because after my 30-day cleanse, my skin start to feel better. My dizziness gone. I've never felt that again for 6 years. My system is completely clean. My digestion is completely clean. My digestive system is 100%. So I now decided now I'm going to go back to the medical doctor, because I want to do now some checks to see what's going on, because they have the machines for that. The herbal doctor don't have the machines, but he knows how to get you better. So I went back to my medical doctor and I spent crazy money doing all the tests. My doctor called me in the following week and he said, I want to talk to you. I want to know what you've been doing, because this is almost miracle.
Yeah.
So he says, what are you eating? I said, well, you know, I no longer eat the food I eat anymore, and this, that. I've been telling him everything that I was doing. I tell him that I went on a herbal cleanse. He said, yeah, herbal cleanse, it's good things, you know, good things. And he was saying, that's good. That's good. So what did you use? And I said, well, you know, I've got some cleanse from my herbal doctor. I didn't go through all of the 9 yard, but I tell him that there was a product called 90C1 that we started taking first. And then we have the stabilizer, because when you start to cleanse, the way, you get weak, because you're not eating the carbs anymore. You're not eating the adding cholesterol anymore. You're not doing this. You're not doing no bad food. So all you're doing is taking out all the garbages and putting in good things, which is the minerals that we've been missing over the years. And by start doing that, you know, everything start to progress and come into play. So he said, wow. Him said, boy, whatever you're doing, keep doing it, man. Everything is okay now. Your system is in a huge stage. And this is about 2 months after my cleanse. I wasn't even finishing the cleanse. My cleanse wasn't even finished yet. So this is a 3-stage. You have cleanse, you have stabilizer, because you get so weak. So he has to give you some things that give you energy, that you're able to deal with the cleanse, because it was terrible. And after the cleanse, the stabilizer, then you have the builder. The builder now is really going to build back your core system. So therefore your system, your muscles and everything, excessive mucus is drained out of you totally. You don't have no big belly again. Because you remember, I used to have big tummy. Now my tummy is literally flat. Like, I didn't do any herbs. All I did was to stop eat all of the food them. And a little bit of exercise with that, walking, because he explained to me about running and walking. Same result. It's just that when you run, your heart rate go faster, but you also damage other things. Like you'll damage your knee, you will also damage your ankles, you also damage a lot of things when you run. And this is a herbal doctor talking to me about these things. A man who know about the human autonomy. We studied that before we can even become a herbal doctor. So with all of this, we started to help a lot more people because knowing me, I started to get excited. So I started to spread the good news. And everybody was really proud of what I was doing. So I became now not just a person with no illness whatsoever. At 53 years old, I have my prostate is 0.1. And you know, most Jamaican men, after them reach 40, them prostate start go up in the one, you know, 0 point something. When my doctor checked, I went to the US and I did a colonoscopy. And when I woke up, the doctor said to me, Mr. Hardware, what have you been eating? I mean, you're so clean up there. There's nothing for me to clean out. But we still did a cleanse, you know, but there's nothing. Tell me, what's the secret? So I said, food. And he said, oh my God, keep on doing what you're doing, son. He said, whatever you're doing, just don't stop. So over the years, we've been lied to about what we're eating and not realizing that we're killing ourselves.
For sure.
And many people will say, I've been eating it for years and I'm okay. But what is years? Because most people think that when you reach 60 and 70, you're old. No, you're not. The only reason why you feel that way is because of your food that you're eating. But if you were eating healthy from the get-go, you would have reached all 200, 150 people on the planet here living 250. You're not here 200 years old, but you're not here about them. We're not saying that we wanted to live forever. I mean, every human being I know would want to live forever, but we know it's not possible. But what has been promoted to us, my brother, for decades now is really death. You don't hear people talk about how to live long because you see, living long is a cost to society. Because when you start to live long, it means that you're there and you take up space where other people should be able to inherit. You know, when you look at your land title, you see it says 1,000 years. You own the land for 1,000 years. People didn't know that because when you get a land title, all you know you're the owner for this land. So you don't take time to the fine print. But when you go down and look and you see say you only are owner for 1,000 years, even though you pay a fee. Because they know that it's going to come down through your generation. After 1,000 years, the land goes back to the government. You don't own it again. But how much are we going to live till 1,000 years? Not much. But by generation to generation to generation, till your generation die out. But if you take care of yourself and your genes and your DNA stay balanced and fresh like how you came on earth, then you will be able to create a better DNA within your children. So your children will be born healthy. There will be no sickness in them DNA. And they can even the only time them take on sickness is when them start to eat the kind of food again that changes their DNA. And your DNA is really your blood. And that's why people even act differently. When they eat certain kind of food, your behavior change, your hormone change. Since I stopped eating meat and all bad food, I don't even have an odor. You know, everybody have a little body odor. But when you stop eating meat and you stop eating bad food and you cleanse and clean your system and start eat good things, you realize that your body odor change as well. So you don't need to put the roll on that make for pies we arm, because these things go into our pores and cause another illness again. That's another thing that people don't even realize. You know, things, it's not everything that is glitter is gold. Sometimes you have to question things. You have to question what it is that you're doing and how these things affect you, you know. And I've gone so far into my studies now that I'm starting to help hundreds of people.
Okay.
Hundreds of people we help daily.
Mm-hmm.
And we're talking about hundreds of people with results. We're not talking about people that saying that they might buy the product. Because we're not selling no product. We are selling life. We are telling you how to eat.
Mm-hmm.
Now, before you actually start eating right, you have to remove junk out of your body, because you can't carry dirty clothes, go in a clean place and say you're clean. You have to clean out what's inside of you and start to put in good things.
Mm-hmm.
So you can have good result. And anybody where you know who actually went on a herbal cleanse, check back them diet and see if I not change back to the regular things, why them start to get sick again.
Okay.
So that's been my journey. And continuously, I don't even cook. Most times there's no pot here because my food is so easy to prepare that I don't literally have to put on a pot. I could simply go outside and pick up fruit from a tree,
mm-hmm.
and that fruit will sustain me and give me all the electrolytes and the nutrients that my body need. Just like that, the cells them wake up, by eating a fruit from my tree.
Mm-hmm.
Big Sunday, in a Jamaican term, Sunday dinner, red rice and rooster. I can have that on the table, not talk to nobody. Couldn't tell when last me see a red rice and rooster. That has gone for 6-7 years now, going 6 years now. Next year will be 7 years that you don't see a red rice and rooster on the table.
Yeah.
And my wife also don't even cook that thing anymore. Every now and then I will eat a little bit of fish. And the reason for that is because fish is much lighter and it's easier to break down in your system. So I'll eat a little bit of fish every now and then. But because I grew up on fish, my dad was a fisherman, so I ate all the fishes in the sea. So fish does not entice me anymore. So true that now, I don't buy it on a regular. So I am eating zero meat. That's what I'm saying to you. Zero meat, zero rice, no sugar, and all my food that I buy now. I'm going to show you 2 things or 3 things before you leave. And you can go and look them up. 1 second.
No problem.
Okay. These you can find in your good supermarket. They will have the aisle that supported them. But if you can't, it means that other people are get healthy and smart too, so then buy them off, right? So if you go to your local supermarket and you don't see this, simple organic vanilla extract.
Okay.
That is for like if you want to put vanilla in your flavored stuff. This is called tech. You need to check that out as well.
Mm-hmm.
It has no fat, no standard fat, straddled fat. It has no trans fat, no cholesterol, no sodium. It has sodium a little bit, because how all plants mostly have sodiums. No 15% carbs, right? Which is 42 grams. It have dietary fiber, 3%, no sugar. This is called teff. It's a farmer beans. They're very small. If you look at the grains in the bag, there's millions of them in there. This is what I use for syrup. Like if I want to make a porridge, blending with green banana and stuff in the morning, some coconut milk and some vanilla extract. This usually my breakfast. Then you have another one called kamut. I didn't take it up, but you have kamut. It's a farmer rice, but it look like wheat, but it's not. It's not the wheat that we know as brown rice or whatever. It is a more beans. It takes about an hour to cook. But when you eat that, there's no binding, there's no constipation. You pass your stool very easy because it breaks down, the system break it down very easy. And these are just healthy stuff. This is a tea called Malacca. I can show it to you. You can write it down and you can go research it. This is my everyday tea. And this one is called Panicolata. You can also look this one up too. And there's a lot of teas I use, right? These are all manufactured here in Jamaica. You don't find this in the supermarket. These are all the herbs from the mountains that was found by Dr. Chemo, and these are the ones that you need to consume to remove toxin from your body every day, right? This is not Herbalife stuff we're telling you about. We're telling you about the real stuff that actually works and give you a result. So these are just some of the stuff. I have a lot of stuff, but we know we don't have the time to show everything. But that's the side of me now that I'm molding into, in other words, to help other people. So a program that we have set up on IG every Sunday is really to educate people about life and health and wealth. So that's it, my brother. That's where I'm at. The next chapter.
The next chapter. And that brought us right back to that album. Where could they purchase it? Right now online. Stream it and or purchase it.
The next chapter can be purchased on all digital platforms. Amazon, you have can stream on Spotify if you like, if you have a paid Spotify account. So on iTunes and all the digital platform that you have in your region. All you have to do is just type in the next chapter, Singing Melody, and you're right at the fingertip right there. You can just press play immediately to enjoy the music that you get in. That's the new project out right now. The video for Caliente is also out on my platform, which is Singing Melody JM on YouTube. And also to follow me on Instagram, of course, Singing Melody, and on Twitter, Singing Melody, and also on TikTok, Singing Melody Music, also on Facebook, Singing Melody Music. So there's all the platform there. If you're lost, just Google Singing Melody, and you will find one person. There's only one.
Only one and only one. Mr. Melody, again, this has been the continuation of the conversation, has been so epic, learned a lot. We even went down a road that I didn't even know we'd go down, with is the health road, which a lot of people are going to learn, and hopefully they'll tune into your program every Sunday, you said, on Instagram.
Every Sunday at 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. It's with Dr. Chemo. It's something that we really just developed because of our relationship and because of my growth. And as an example, people may say, oh, my body react different from yours. No. If that be the case, then would have different stranger COVID vaccine to give all of it. And that's not the case. Your body is a mineral-based body, and that's what you need to know. And you need to know that minerals is what you need daily. You need other foods, but minerals are the most important thing that you should be consuming every day. And look how God good, and put it all the way in the bottom of the sea. If you not seek knowledge, if you're not seeking knowledge, you won't find it. And that's why the Bible says again, seek and you shall find, ask and you shall be answered, in many ways. So this thing called CMOS carry 96 minerals when you cook it. You cook it easily, and I will give you the easy way of start adding minerals to your diet. When you get the raw CMOS, you need to soak it overnight. A handful of it like this, like a fist in a bowl. In the morning when you wake up, it becomes alive again. It never dies. Now, when it become alive, you need to strip it and pick it, take off all the seaweeds and stuff that's itch on it, little rocks and things, because it grow on the rocks. So you have to take off the stones and all of that, wash it down properly. And then you put it on a little water in a pot and cook it for about 5 minutes or so, boiling water. What that does, it actually dissolve it and make the minerals them come out more potent. So as it is raw, you may have about 50 minerals, but when you cook it, you get the 96 of them show up. Now that's how powerful it is. This is only 96 minerals from the 100 and odd minerals. But if you take just 96, you will live a little longer.
Yeah.
And you realize that you're getting everything that you need. The chicken and the rice and the flour and the oxtail and the bean, all of them something there. Try leave them out of your diet. They're poison. they're not going anywhere. First of all, your body can't break them down. Your digestive system cannot break down meat. Learn that. Once you learn that, you'll realize that eating meat is really poisoning yourself, because then again, you're now started taking on different probiotic and bringing in your system where God gave you, because God make you with your own probiotics, That means to eat away bad bacteria. So if you put your hand on a microscope, you will see little things moving around in your hand. Yes, hold on, something live in my hand. No, that is how God make you. To eat bad bacteria away, so therefore you can stay healthy. Now, when you eat meat, you take on a different kind of probiotic. Now, that is animal probiotic. I'm bringing in your system now, and start to fight against your good ones. So you start to eat that meat, you're killing your original probiotic and having animal one now. So them take charge and start to control your system now, control how you behave, everything. And then the meat now break down. So in no time, you start a big gut. You start, when people are saying, oh, I look fat and you, the man look good, man. No, you're dying. Yeah. You just don't know you're dying slowly. And that's the thing, is until one day you just get up and just have some illness and you go to the hospital and you say, boy, you have cancer, you have all of this stuff. And all of this just caused by excessive mucus in the body, clogging up organs. So it depends on where the doctor finds the sickness. He will just give it a name. The executive name that they do on the research, and the coded names that you don't know. Because if you don't unlock this code, you won't know what it means. So you will hear that you have heart disease. You have lungs cancer. Lungs cancer is really just telling you that you have excessive mucus that blocking your lungs. You can't breathe properly. Everything is getting small and tight. So in no time, you die. But if you get rid of this mucus out of your body and start to shrink it, you realize that your body starts to do the work. If you're eating right, putting in the right food will help you to correct back your system and put you back on schedule. Blood pressure, high blood pressure, diabetes, pancreas, what you call it? Yeah, all of these things, excessive mucus. Until next time, my brother. Holy knowledge.
Mr. Melody, it's been an epic, great conversation. Again, we like to see many sides of you. As we've seen the singing side, and then now we got to see the real life side, how we're eating to live. And that right there was amazing. Before I get you out of here, I need a few lines out of Say What.
Say what? Lady, are you saying to me, did you mean to tell me he put you down for another? And what? Lady, are you showing me, babe, did you mean to tell me he put you down, lady? He put you on and I take you in and give you loving that a real man bring. So much more I have in store for you. It is love always. And another thing I have to tell you before I go, my energy is much higher than before. So I preserve this moment to bring you greater music, greater energy when you see me out there back in the world. My shows will be more live and spicy. Everything comes back because of life itself. Respect.
Mr. Melody, let me give you an outro and get you out of here, because this was an epic conversation. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is Muscle, and this has been another Two Line Music Cuts Entertainment Report podcast, and we are out.
Blessings, muscles.
This podcast is brought to you by www.twolinedmusichut.com.